There's a backlog of 80,000 complaints filed with the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. Many of these discrimination claims will go to court, and some will bring awards in the tens of millions of dollars. Damaging to both reputation and bottom line, these suits are every CEO's worst fear. My guest has carved out a business around one of the most topical issues in the workplace. Joining me is Janet Bashen, President and CEO of Bashen Corporation. It's great to have you on Business Unusual.
Thank you.
You're multifaceted. You don't just cover racial discrimination. You cover the whole product line in a sense, huh?
Yes, we do. We cover all discrimination filed under Title VII. Fair employment practices is my niche. It relates to religion, age, sexual harassment, every area that's covered under Title VII, including ADA, which is Americans with Disabilities Act. Many of our cases are issues that many people are not aware of that's covered under the Act.
One of the most interesting ones is religion, and you had mentioned that you were surprised when you did one investigation yourself.
One of the cases we recently investigated involved Wiccan, which is witchcraft, and I didn't realize that witchcraft is one of the oldest religions in the world, and was surprised to discover that it was definitely protected. And that was an awakening for me.
Some would say that you work for the bad guys, but the companies actually hire you to deal with the problem before it goes to court. So they're really the good guys in the sense that they want to see if there is a problem internally. Do you find that CEOs are fairly open-minded these days, or they need a lot of educating?
The companies that come to us because they want the facts. We're fact finders. We give them the information, good or bad, and we provide them with information that they can use to make a business decision. And many of the companies will take the information we provide and determine that they need to change policies, they need to make these people whole, or they may decide that this is something where we didn't discriminate and they want to defend it. So we give them the good and the bad, and they make the decision after receiving the information from my company.
How open-minded are most of your clients, would you say, honestly?
I believe I've never had a situation where I gave clients bad information, where they didn't say, okay, let's fix this. I don't think that they sit in boardrooms and decide that, oh, that's discriminate.
Let's put up a wall against this.
That's exactly right. I haven't seen that. What I have seen is that some issues will come about, and it may be frontline managers, and this is where we come in. We give them the information. We'll investigate. We'll talk to some of the frontline managers, people involved, and give them the information so that they can turn around and decide this is an issue that we want to address.
Has the pendulum swung too far in our society? Some say we're lawsuit crazy, and you cover the whole gamut, as I said before. Has the pendulum swung way too far in our society?
Well, I think I think there's a real need for the Equal Opportunity Commission. I think that when people feel that they've been treated unfairly, there needs to be a place they can go to voice their concerns. I do believe that the EEOC, with them being backlogged, are taking cases sometimes that may not merit an investigation. And they are trying to make changes there. They have a new system where they rank the types of cases that are coming in. And one part of the ranking is they will look at the case and determine that this case will be a probable cause, which means they believe after investigating they will find discrimination. And then on the other end, they will rank it to say that I don't think discrimination occurred here, and it may not be a top priority for the commission. So I think there has been some changes to alleviate the pendulum that you had talked about.
Are you ever surprised when you go into a company and take a close look and say, I just can't believe this is happening in a Fortune 500 or even a smaller corporation in America?
I haven't been too surprised at anything.
Is that because you're open-minded, or just because it's not that far out of control?
Well, I just believe that regardless of the size of a corporation, you're going to get these complaints. Most people, when they're terminated or leave the company, you never hear anyone say, well, I was terminated because I really suck. I was a bad employee. So you never get that situation. There's always someone that's going to blame someone else for their termination. And so when I go into companies, I'm sometimes I'm surprised at how well and what they do to help the employee succeed at their job. So that's something that I've seen.
Let's talk about your business a little bit. You got your start representing Denny's, and that was a very controversial case on the West Coast and racial discrimination. And after that, your name was out there.
Well, I got my start when I started to investigate customer complaints of discrimination for what was set up. It was a particular vehicle that they used in California where they had a civil rights monitor who was, the whole job was for that person to monitor and see if discrimination was occurring to customers. And that was my first client. I responded by investigating a number of complaints, of customer complaints of discrimination. And yes, that was the big start, and my name did get out there. A lot of companies heard about our investigative techniques where I gave the information without the biases. I gave them exactly what occurred. And if a customer was not discriminated against based on our finding, I gave them that information as well.
You have 18 attorneys on your staff. You're
Yes.
growing. What separates you from the others is that you're not a law firm, so you're not
That's
trying
right.
to take this to court. So you don't really have any competition.
That's exactly right. Maybe after this show I'll have competition, but I think that the one niche we have is the fact that we're trying to get to the facts. We're trying to give the information to the companies so they can make a good business decision to protect their bottom line. And as they get the information, they can determine what they need to do to protect their interests.
In a year, how big are you going to be, do you think, from now?
Someone asked me that the other day, and I really, my whole goal is to create an environment in the workplace where people feel they can come to their employer and say, this is unfair. As far as how large I'll grow, it depends on all the media attention that relates to some of the high-profile cases. I tend to get a lot of calls after high-profile cases are aired, and that tends to be every day.
Of course, the way media is today. Nice to have you on the program.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Janet Bashen once again. And coming up